Good evening, and welcome to another segment of the New Black Leadership Coalition live here at CAN Television. The new, that's right, black, that's right, and leadership.
Yeah, coalition.
Coalition.
Yeah.
Which is so much part of this whole movement is the coalition building and that whole piece. But I am Gregory Singh, one of the co-members, co-founders, and co-host on one of our other programs, and proud member of the New Black Leadership. And I'm very, very thankful, very, very blessed to have this golden opportunity once again to come to you all over these golden airwaves. And hopefully we can inspire you, we can motivate you, we can ignite in you, and maybe transform many of you all out there with a new message, with energy that is sincere and really believe in the upliftment of our people. And we preach, we advocate, and we absolutely want freedom, justice, and equality for black people and for humanity as a whole. And so tonight, I am we are, but I'm happy, and I'm very thankful that my friend and my brother and my mentee, in some respects, mentee,
right. You can say that.
my mentee years ago.
Yeah.
And we just so many things that I want to talk to this brother about, but I'm on here with my brother, Bamani Obedili.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
brother?
man, hey, bro, what a honor to have you on tonight. And it's good. You know, last night we had a very spirited show. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you get a chance to look at it, but it really should be a requirement. It should be a requirement that everyone go back, pull that video down, because last night it was Political 101.
Oh, okay.
And when
Well,
I
I
say
was out doing political work
yeah,
last night.
right?
Yeah, okay.
And it
All
was
night.
really to get into the minds of those who claim to be leaders, claim to be shepherds, claim to care about the condition of our people. But we really talked about what's behind all of that. What's the motives? Why do you do what you do? And that's going to be my first question. And you know, you could answer it any way you want. But anyway, thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me, Greg. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, brother. And it's always good to come before the people in the audience, and and I think that the mission and the goals are very clear. New Black Leadership Coalition, the way it's set up and structurally, I kind of co-chair the political committee of the New Black Leadership Coalition. So I mean, we're kind of moving in the right direction from a holistic approach of looking at the social, economic, and political conditions of black people here. And when you look at where we are as a people, no one can argue that we don't need a set of new black leaders.
Absolutely.
If you will.
With integrity.
Yes.
Because, you know, I love it when I hear our brother and our friend, Brother Harold Davis.
Yes.
They've been really on this piece. And every conversation that they talk about, even when they bring on guests, it always revert back to, are you a good shepherd?
Yeah.
Are you tending to the flock?
Yeah.
Are you near the flock? And so when you say what you just said,
Yeah.
and you look at the need for new
Yeah.
black leadership, and you look at where we are, and the reason why this is so important, and you definitely, I know you're going to weigh in on this, if you look where we are in 2017, headed toward 2018, it makes no sense that we could get together, we can go over here and we can stretch our hands up in the air, and we say we have a relationship with Christ, with Muhammad, with Gandhi, whatever. We say we believe, we followers. Well, where's the service? And you being, I've heard you say, a political operative, but you being a servant, why do you do what you do?
Well,
what's your motivation?
Well, for me, I want to say that listen, I grew up. I think some things are just are born in you, right? And I think from a small child, I think there was a level of political acumen, political pedigree, if you will, that I just had. I was always fascinated by it from the kids. As a young boy growing up in Robert Taylor, I was always fascinated with politics. I knew studied presidents, the governors, the mayors. I just got a big, that whole council war phenomenon back in the 80s when, we watched it on television, many people. And I was just a young boy. I was probably 12 years old then, but I was just really fascinated with looking at guys like Bill Henry and watching Sunita Butler and Dexter Watson and Streeter. I used to have to say Streeter beat her, hell defeater. They were talking about the battles with Jane Byrne. So my point is this. Fast forward, I'm 45 years old now, and I met you in my teenage years.
Yeah.
I'm not telling your age, but
no,
my point, the point that I'm making is that I've had a great fascination with politics, and I do believe that when you look at the condition of our people, I do believe that good public policy, government is here to serve people, to help people. And a lot of times what happens is folks get elected and they end up demanding that people serve them instead of them serving the people. And so and when we go back to the shepherd and the sheep relationship, the shepherd tends to make merchandise of his sheep.
And the sheep is now feeding
the shepherd. The sheep is feeding the shepherd and taking care of the shepherd's family and providing for them. And so, it's a lot of the roles are in reverse because we have not been, we will vote for people and then we don't hold them accountable, right? And so for me, I do what I do because I do still believe that we can have good government, right? And that we can elect good people to office, right? And I know many times folks accuse me, you like to go with establishment candidates. I run against the establishment. I took an alderman who was unpopular and ran her against what most people call a civil rights established alderman. I helped run her campaign,
right.
and she defeated when she had all the black leadership against her.
Oh yeah,
defeated an alderman who I just felt her role reversed. She went from being a public servant to wanting the public to serve her. The roles reversed. She forgot who put her in office and why they sent her there. And the moment elected officials start making things about themselves and not about the people and what the greater good for the people are.
Absolutely.
That's when it's time for them to go. That's when it's time for them to go. So I would say, and I'm not against young people running for office, but I think you would have to have a track record, right? So who have you served under? What organization have you ever been in, right? Where have you ever volunteered, And so, we have this new onslaught of what I like to call these pop-up Negroes, just pop up out of nowhere. You don't know where they come from. They just pop up, and now they're an activist because now that's become a hustle. Activism has become a hustle. So here, what we can clearly quantify tonight, brother, and to the audience, black people are suffering.
Oh, absolutely.
Across this country. But let's talk about Cook County. Let's talk about Illinois. Drop your bucket where you are. All politics are local. We have the highest unemployment in the nation among black people here in Illinois. Black people are suffering from social and educational deprivation, right? So then you have these folks who are charlatans who pop up and they see the suffering of our people and they further want to take advantage of that by jumping out there with making bogus claims, false flagging in a sense, because they only care about getting money for themselves and not for the masses of our people and seeing our people and our conditions change. So I would tell people, to not be weary in well doing. Those of us who are out here continue to do the work, I'll say keep doing the work, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The new black leadership is important because we have forums, we have informational sessions. We have to wake up the masses to understand that the power, I still believe, is in the people. I'm not going to believe the hype. Yeah, we've lost some African Americans in this city. I still contend, based upon my political knowledge and being out in precincts and getting precinct maps, and even from the last election cycle, where, and especially in the last mayoral election cycle, black folks outvoted whites.
Okay.
If black people didn't come out and vote, and I was a part of helping them vote for Rahm, he wouldn't have been elected, right?
You just said a mouthful.
I'm just saying.
And look, last night it was almost. It seemed as though you were listening.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I didn't get home to 12:30. I was in Oak Park.
But bro, you saying
I was close,
very
though.
similar. Minister Michael talked about how politics is local, but he said something that I am going to continue saying, and that is we need to organize our vote. See, voting just out in orbit, out in space, have got us in this place right now.
Right.
And people, as you say, have taken advantage of us because they realize that there is a group of people too. One of them are just plain ignorant.
Right.
Then there's another one that you call them charlatans, that they know damn well what they doing when they push this whole thing as though it's life and death for black people if we don't vote. Yet we vote, and you say Chicago voted one particular way with all the votes, but yet the unemployment for black people is all-time high. We vote, but you can't find a damn mom and pop store in the black community. We vote, but yet crime is on the up. We vote, but yet economically. And that's why, I love what the minister said many years ago, and it should be repeated. Politics without economics is symbol without substance.
It's dead. You can't have one without the other. We have to consolidate our political and our economic position and power, right?
Absolutely.
And so I contend and say to the brothers and sisters who are watching tonight, black people,
share this too.
We are our problem, but we also our solution.
Oh, absolutely.
We are a problem. I'm going to say that again. We are our problem, and we also are our solution.
Obedili, there's not a person I know think like you, Minister Mike, and others. We are the saviors for the planet.
Yeah.
That's why the scripture said, let my people go. Because they realize as long as we stay tied to the political apparatus without understanding that we the leaders. We're the ones who step in the room and realize that everybody's going to eat. We doing this for the right reason. We ain't just running for office because now we want to get into the, higher echelons and be at the banquets and be at the cotillion, whatever, all of that other illusionary foolishness. We want to be in there because we realize that when it comes to what? Service, when it comes to who gets what?
Hey, listen, I'm going to just tell you this. For a long time, up until 2012, 2% of the population control the whole state.
Wow.
Now I'm going to go with that. 2%. And I'm not mad at them. And I'm talking about the Irish community. How they do it? We had Irish governor. We had Irish mayor. We had an Irish state's attorney. Yeah. We had Secretary of State, but still connected to the Irish. We had the Irish Speaker of the House. We had Irish President of the Senate. My only point was this: we had Irish County Sheriff. Now again, I'm not.
I get it.
Irish County Sheriff, right?
Right.
Go to the heads of the unions. Sweeney, head of Local 150. Who's the head of the labor union up until the end? There's now this Hispanic running, but my point to you, Burke, chairman of the finance committee, John Daly at the county board. The finance committees are the most powerful committees in every facet of government, right? The finance chairman. That controls the purse of the money.
Right.
Just like being the Speaker of the House. People don't really realize how much power the President of the Illinois Senate holds and why it was so important to keep an African American there. But because of nigritude and the fratricism among black people again, we lost that power and it went back to who? John Cullerton. So now, you got Cullerton's the President of the Senate, Mike Madigan is the Speaker of the House. Yeah? Right? Rahm's days is over. The next mayor I contend to this city will be an Irish person. The Irish are going to regain their control and power.
Is that right?
I'm telling you, Mark, why? Because we have not done the work to organize, to consolidate our own power. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because we're not together. I'm saying now, those of us who are sincere about helping black people and uplifting our community, we need to go in a consolidated way, right? Consolidate our vote and our power and cut the best deal for our community and our people.
Let's take a call right quick. Good evening, caller. How you doing? You on the air?
Very, very good, sir. Thank you for accepting my call. Here's my comment and question. One thing about you, Obedili, you say a lot of good things that I agree with. You say a lot of things that make sense. But as a reasonable man, I get lost when you support Rahm Emanuel for mayor, as you did last election. And here's a man who has been in charge of this city that has allowed us to not receive the contracts we should have based on the population of our city. Here's a man who has presided over the wanton death and destruction on the south and west sides. I mean, it's Labor Day weekend coming up. Anywhere from 50 to 100 people will be shot. We should flood that area with police. So when you talk about black unity, which I definitely support, when you make mention of the Irish connection, or the Irish mob as it's sometimes called, I definitely agree with your logic. But then you turn around and you support the Democratic Party that's keeping us in the situation we've been in for 40 years. You can't have it both ways. Now, you did say you stepped out and you supported Pat Dow over Dorothy Tillman. Okay, I got it, because you said that, hey, why go with the establishment? Go with, the person who you believe will do the best job. You cannot say by any measurement Rahm Emanuel is doing a good job, nor has he done a good job for us for the last 6 years.
Thank you.
If you could give me a comment, I appreciate it.
And I know you want to respond.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this. A bunch of people don't have that type of honesty to say if they supported Rahm, because many of those, they go behind closed doors.
I've seen them.
And look, and so I have to say this. It's not Rahm as much as it is us. See, when you go into the room and you speak with the voice of God and you're not fearful, even if you feel that's the horse you're going to play, you must make sure that whoever it is, that you hold everybody accountable, because we've had a black president for 8 years and people are bragging about that symbolic office, but our people are suffering.
And did suffer.
But look, I want to take another call, then you can answer.
Okay.
Because
I want to answer him.
Yeah. Let's say, I want to take this caller, and then we're going to let Obedili respond to the call. I mean, it was good comments, but, we agree to disagree. Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You know what gets to me is 1,000 ministers are going to march to Washington and all of that.
Well, I'm not backing that, so, but what's the point?
Okay, why can't 100 ministers here in Chicago march the streets this Labor Day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights in the streets on the south side and the west side? No, they won't do that, but they blame everybody else for not going and doing that. They want everybody else to do something. Why can't they do something? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now go ahead and answer that. Then
my grandmother used to say, "Well, son, sometimes you have to dance with the devil you know than the devil you don't know." Now, I would rather not dance with the devil at all. But giving giving the choice that we had in the runoff between Rahm Emanuel and Chuy Garcia, and that was a metaphor, by the way. I don't believe in sitting down and making any deals with any devil, so I'm going to be very clear about that. That was just a metaphor to say this. I've known Rahm Emanuel. I knew when he got here in the 90s. I fought him at CHA. Vividly fought him when he was the vice chairman of the CHA board over this plan for transformation now, which he overseen. Bill Clinton sent him here to oversee the demise of what we call today public housing. I knew Chuy Garcia. I knew people that were over there working with him. So I'm going to tell you what Chuy Garcia did. And I've told all these people this. I would have backed Chuy Garcia, but Chuy Garcia did what some told me that he would do. Because in the primary, I stayed out of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I voted for Willie Wilson. I'm going to be frank with you. I voted for Willie Wilson just because I really did not. I was one of them 55,000 people who voted for Willie Wilson. So I'm going to tell you who I voted for. I didn't work for anyone during the primary election. I was concerned about, I had an automatic client, 2 of them, in fact, who I was helping. And that was my concern. When it came down to it, Chuy Garcia, after he won the primary, several of my friends who worked for his campaign were all fired out of the Woodlawn office. Well, let go. He got rid of half of his black staff because he felt like he now needed to focus on bringing white folks into his campaign. So, and some argue with me, and I'm always of the impression is how you start is how, it'll be in the end. So how you start your campaign is how it's going to end up in the end. That's just how my barometer of judging, right? So I knew there were black folks over there with Rahm. I didn't necessarily agree with the African Americans that Rahm had, but he had several folks that he had hired. He had them in other governmental positions. And so they were not subtracting black people. They were adding black people after they got into the runoff, which was very smart. And so based upon Chuy letting go of those African Americans that I knew that were friends of mine, I decided to go and work for Rahm. And to Chuy's credit, he about 3 weeks after he did that, the pushback on him was so tough he had to bring them all back. But at the end of the day, it was too late for me, and I kind of lost confidence in this campaign. So I joined. And I thought that Rahm could win. I thought at the time, like now still, we have a pension problem. Chicago has probably one of the worst economic problems that we've had in the history of this city right now, currently. You may not know that, but I'm telling you it is a fact. And that's because of years of Daley not saying no. And we can go into that a whole nother day by giving up the house. But my point is this. The pension problem in this city is real. And I'm telling you people that. It is the double dipping that has taken place over years. You got a lot of African Americans that are getting 2 or 3 pensions.
and you know what's sad? So this is the game. So although it's a problem, they knew that it would be. I mean, you say 2% controls
every fact.
Most of the wealth in the whole country. So they know there has not been a redistribution of wealth. So the money game, we're not winning that, although we people talk about how much we have collectively, but we haven't used our monies to empower our real ideas. Man, they saying 5 minutes is left already. Now, I know we have not been in this studio that long.
Yeah, well, all I would say to you, brother, is that
you make the time go by, brother, when you're doing this.
But no, we're giving out some good information.
Look, but I got to go back to this before you leave.
Okay.
I'm not going to leave this here. And folks, please share this on Facebook. If you listening, share it with your friends.
Yeah.
The pop-up activists, the pop-up candidates. In the end, these pop-up clowns who know doggone well they ain't trying to be American. You can barely be a good citizen to the people that you're around. And so many of you all, some of you all, you have mental illnesses, problem. So sit down, go get some help. And then some of you all are scared of your own shadow. I know you have your own perspective on that, but I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired of a bunch of clowns misdirecting the black community, don't give a damn about the poor, and playing games because all they want is some money in the back room.
Well, they see activism, and they see our community and even the suffering of our people, you know, as a hustle in a sense. So they set up GoFundMe pages and steal all the money. They threaten to run for office and don't have real committees. Nobody asks where's the citizens to elect fund. You know, you writing a check to a Negro and they ain't set up no committee. You know, and it's just, you know what, man, it is really, 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 truly sad.
Wicked.
And so I'm grateful though to Brother Minister Michael, yourself, and others who've come through, saw the need to put certain things in place, man, so that we can begin to try to have a conversation, to talk and educate our people. Like I said again, Brother Greg, we are the problem, black people, and we also are our solution, man. And this election cycle is very critical to our people. We need to, I would just say this, we need to start electing statesmen again. We need statesmen. We need Bill Dawson's again. You know, I didn't always agree with the Shaws, but we need political statesmen. We need to, you say what you want to say about Emil Jones. He was a statesman. Wilson Frost, a statesman. We need statesmen.
And that will come from organizing the vote. And I am pressing that, I'm pushing that, because the scientific definition that we got last night, and I'm urging you all, go back and study that talk last night from Intellectual Radio. And let me send something out to Pat Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Before we leave. My condolences, the love for a superstar, a falling superstar, never will be forgotten. Our sister, Pat Hill.
Yes, great
love
sister.
you, would always love you, and may God be pleased with our sister and anybody else out there have lost loved ones. And I know many of you all, our condolences, and may God place his angels of comfort around you and your family.
At this time, a wonderful sister. I mean, fought on the police department in the spirit of the Renault Robinsons. I mean, you have people like Pat Hill, the Lou Palmers, the Georgia Palmers, the Nancy Jeffersons, man. Listen. We've had great people that came before us, man. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan today. We've had great people to come before us, man, that give us an example. I don't know. I'm just baffled with this new age of...
they hustlers. They hustlers. And they've always had wolves in sheep clothing. So this is nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, we just exposing them because we love the people that much, and we hope that they get some help. Because, I mean, that's who he was trying to redeem. We got to wrap it up. I want to thank you, Brother Obedili, for coming on.
Can I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
One last thing. I would just say to you, brothers and sisters, anybody moving forward who's running for office and does not have a black economic agenda, don't talk about black employment, don't talk about black economics, you need to look somewhere else.
I love you for saying it, brother. Thank you, Brother Obedili.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Can Television, for allowing the new black leadership, a coalition that don't scratch where we don't itch, don't sugarcoat, don't water down, call a spade a spade. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.